Hi and welcome, Amanda here. I truly appreciate you stopping by. This is the club card for July 2021, and it has the opening of the back, and then it has this explosion extra flap out, and I did that with the You Are Enough papers from the last catalog. And then our sample that everybody got in the mail is from the lovely paper pack that's in the annual catalog. And if you're not a part of my club, there's a couple ways that you can be included in the mailing. If you sign up as a VIP member with Close to My Heart on my website, craftingwithamanda.ctmh.com, then I send you a packet to make a project every month, and this is the project for July, excuse me. Or if you don't want to be a VIP, but you do want to do the project, go to my blog, craftingwithamanda.com, and you'll see I think subscriptions or club card link there, and you can just sign up for 1 month or 12 months. And if you want the envelopes included, you'll need to select that option and purchase. But otherwise, you can just decide what level you want to be at for the cards each month. So in addition to the supplies that I sent in the envelope, which I will have the dimensions on my blog for all the different cuts, I also added some flowers and some leaves and a packet of butterflies from my embellishments. So to get things started, the square that I sent, I had to bend it one way to fit into the envelope. But I've learned for doing the one diagonal fold, if you put the edge up against the rail of your cutter, then you can kind of push both sides to that, and I get a perfect fold each time. So you can see that the mountain folds go to the center, and then the top and bottom go on top of that. So then these pieces are your extra flaps for the explosion flap, and you need one for the top and one for the bottom. So I'm showing here how I scored it so that the square is 2 1/4. So I scored it at 2 1/4, which was about a 1/2 inch. And I did that to both of them. And then you just glue them on opposite corners from the back. And you give it a little bit of time to let the glue dry and make sure that it's not going to ooze out. And there's your mechanism. And the only thing that you're going to have left to do is to attach it to the card base. And that's actually pretty easy to do. So what I'm going to show you here now is that to make sure that it folds, I use a piece of cardstock that then I mat with the pattern paper to give it some extra strength. And so I'm cutting these down to, it's actually 1 7/8, so it's just an 1/8 under 2 inches because I wanted a bigger frame than I did on my sample. So then I decided to use the dark of the green and mat the B&T paper on the green, and then the next thing I'll do is I'll glue them to the base. And I was just reminding you that if you wanted to ink the edges, to go ahead and do that now. And I did that on the sample card with the You Are Enough papers, but this one I feel like I'm running out of time and I need to get this video up so that everybody knows how to make these cards. So here's basically the one trick is you only want to glue these center pieces on the top of one triangle and then the bottom of the other triangle. And because I chose a pattern, the hearts that have a direction, I want to have them facing into the center. So it kind of naturally draws your eye to the center of the card. So you'll just see that you put the glue just on the top on the right and the bottom triangle on the left. And that's all there is to it. And then this will just fold up nicely. So I didn't show this in the video, I'm realizing it now as I'm walking through. All that you do to adhere this to that center card is put glue on the back side when it's folded and hold the corner up into the center of your flap, and then open the flap and put glue on the top, and then just close it again, and that will take care of it for you. So what I was showing on that was that with the one that I did with You Are Enough, I actually held the B&T paper up in the inside of the card, and I used my scoring tool to kind of mark where the edges were, and then I just hand cut it out. So if you go back and look at the original card, you can see that. So here I am making the front piece for the card, and because the flap is going to cover it, I'm going to cut a frame and use the paper from the center on the front of the craft paper mechanism. part of the card. And you don't have to double mount these. If you just want the explosion flat part of the card, just go ahead and send that. You don't have to then put this on another card base. It's up to you what you want to do. So originally I thought I'd do all flower, flower, and then I realized, oh, the beautiful leaves are on the back, so I'm going to flip it over and use the back side. And I love this lovely paper. I love the leaves in that. So I'm just gluing on the frame, leaving a nice border around it, and then I will glue the mechanism fold inside of that, and you won't even see that there isn't paper there. So you just have to, and I like using liquid glue because it kind of lets you move it a little and get it correctly into place. And now I'm just making sure that it's a full connected to all of the edges. And here I need to cut that center piece that I took out of the background, and I'm going to use the floral on this. And isn't that beautiful paper? I love the colors. And I apologize for if my finger on my right hand is a little distracting. I pinched it in a chair when I was putting new covers on it. I was doing some sewing, and when I went to fold up the chair, it pinched my finger because I didn't have it in the right spot. So that was a couple weeks ago, and we're still having issues. So here I'm just kind of showing that I use this stamp set from the Isabella collection, and I love the flowers in it, and I'm going to use those on the inside, or you can use them on the inside. So here I'm going ahead and coloring in using the really light pink tri-blend marker, and I just wanted to show that sometimes if the color doesn't match exactly, and I end up doing it with the green, you can take a gray or a light brown, like a tan, and most of the time it's gray that you want to use, and actually go over your color, and it kind of mutes it down a little bit, and it will make it look a dustier color. It will help it match better. So I was gonna fill these little berries in, and later I end up using a shimmer brush because the marker just didn't make them pop like I wanted. So here I'm just using the medium shade because I want a little bit darker flower, but in the same tone. That's what I really like about these markers, is you get all three shades in one marker. So I'm just using the darker shade on the flower in the background, and then I'll use the medium and dark for the accent pieces instead of the light and medium, and it gives it a richness. It's the same color family, just a little darker. And the more you go over it and kind of saturate with alcohol markers, the more the blend just naturally happens, and it's kind of nice. So here I'm trying to find the green that works, and this is where I will show you that if you use kind of a gray, and I'm looking for a scrap of paper right now, so I'm just scribbling some of the different shades, the light, the medium, and then the dark of the one dull green marker. And now I'm using some gray on it, and I'd accidentally picked the dark side, but you can see how it just really, it deepened that green, but it didn't change the color too much. It just makes it match our papers more. So you always have those options. Not that leaves need to match the papers, but sometimes if you have too many things going on color wise, it's harsh, and instead of being soothing. And that's the one thing I think about the lovely paper, is to me it's just soothing. So here I have that shimmer brush where I am dotting the berries on the flowers, and those just pop. Now you can't see the shimmer on the screen, but they really make a difference. So I love my shimmer brushes. So I'm going to grab the base here and show you some of the flowers that I did, and I'm going to pop some of these up, and you can tell that these were die cut. It leaves a little bit of the border, and sometimes I don't like that, and other times it works really well. In this case it works really well because now it had that single flower actually stands apart from the other flowers. These leaves are cuts from the Craft with Heart card kit, I think from last September. Just like I send out monthly club cards to my VIP members, if you purchase a card subscription through me, I augment the images in it by sending you a whole set of Cricut cuts or die cuts that you can use to kind of individualize your Craft with Heart cards. And I'm just going to shape these leaves. I'm just taking the dry embossing stylus and pulling them down the center to kind of wrinkle and shape the leaves. And if you're unfamiliar with this, I have actually 3 videos that I did showing how to shape leaves and how to make 3D flowers. And I will make sure to put the link in the description. But otherwise, just go to my channel, Crafting with Amanda, and if you look for flower shaping, you should find them. I'm going to cut a banner end out of this word thankful and just put it up on the top there. I really like how the front of this card turned out. So now I'm realizing in the center, there's a lot of real estate to cover. So I'm trying to find some sentiments, and I always pre-stamp not always, but sometimes when I am in my office and need to be working on something, but just my creativeness is gone, I at least will go and stamp and cut some sentiments so that I'm getting something done, and then it saves me time later, like in this case. So I got out the evergreen shimmer brush, and it was just too saturated. So to kind of dilute it, I spray a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and it really only takes a couple drops, and then you drag your pen through it, and it softens the intensity of the color of the shimmer brush. So, and then here I was showing you can use your piercing tool to shape the edges of these little daisies, but I like using the I can't think, the dry embossing stylus, and I ended up getting black ink from doing the center of the butterfly on my fingers, and then it was on the back of that one daisy. So that's what was happening there. And now I'm going to add the leaves that I cut them a little closer. I went back and hand fussy cut them closer just because I didn't like the white edge, especially on the inside. And here you just need to be careful of what you put on which flap, because the flaps that fold in, you don't want to have bulk on them, because then it will make it not close really well. So I had taken the leftovers from the French vanilla cardstock that I had used to die cut all of the images for the Isabella scrapbooking stamp, those flowers. So I went ahead and just grabbed a punch, and all the extra spaces in between, I punched those daisies that I did, and then all these flowers. So now I'm just taking the shimmer brush. I don't know why words are failing me today, but I took the shimmer brush and colored those in, and then I'm trying to emulate the pattern that's on the lovely paper with just the colored dyes or colored dots in the center of the flowers. And here I'm just using the shimmer brush on the edge just to kind of give it a little bit of that bluebell, and then I just smear over with the clear shimmer brush the word smile. And again, you can't see it in the video, but in real life it's really nice. And I wanted you to see that you can see the bottom corner of that smile, and that's the only side that you can have something stick off. All of the other sides would bump into something else and not allow it to fold. So you just need to be mindful where you place your embellishments. And now these flowers, I'm just keeping them flat. They're very shimmery with the shimmer brush, so they glitter, they hold their own even though they don't have a lot of dimension. And I'm going to do the same thing up here, but I'm going to use those blue flowers. And it doesn't show in the video, but I end up using those extra pink and blue flowers. I added them to the front of the card just so that it all kind of ties in together, that I have some of the same flowers on the inside and the outside of the card. And this butterfly is one that was punched, and it had foam tape on it. And I didn't want foam tape on the center of the mechanism, so I just tore the foam tape off and added liquid glue, and we were set to go. And then I'm just having some fun with these daisies. And again, you'll notice that the leaves are off of the flap, and those are good places for those to do. And the bottom leaf hides the background of that smile sentiment. So here it is, kind of before I finish the outside. You can add sequins to it, you could add splatters to the center, but I really like how these cards turned out. If you're not already a subscriber to my channel, I would love if you could join us, so go ahead and hit subscribe. And then I will put a link here for some other videos that you might be interested in. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks.